So I can't explain how many times I've had someone come up to me and ask me, Sad, why don't you use the phone? Sad, how can I reach you? The answer is very simple. I don't use the phone because it gets in the way of my productivity. But let me explain why I stopped using a phone 3 years ago. My last phone was a BlackBerry Key One, and I loved that thing to death. I mean, I am like very crazy about Blackberries in general, but BlackBerry Key One was a very special phone, and I spent hours on it playing chess every day. And it got to a point where it just started meddling with my productivity. So I wasn't being able to do things that I deemed very important. And that's when I decided that I'm gonna quit using a phone. So as an educator, I see a lot of kids every day with ridiculous screen time hours. So I've seen kids with 12 hours, 9 hours, and that's average. So on certain days, they're probably spending more than that. And that to me is just absurd. So I truly believe that as a species, we are not meant to absorb this kind of content and data. If you go back to the primitive ages, like the maximum stimulus that your eyes and your mind was getting was just looking at people and landscapes and places. And, you know, sometimes you'd have a spike in your adrenaline because something was chasing you, but you would not ever be exposed to this kind of stimulus. So, but with a phone, there's a consistent barrage of notifications and people that are looking for your attention who wouldn't stop at anything. Generally, I'm a very busy person. I've got a lot of ambitions, the things that I want to achieve in life. And I believe the phone just gets in the middle of that. And I understand that a lot of people might ask that, Sad, okay, well, if you want to be ambitious and productive, you have to communicate and collaborate with people. And for that, you need a phone. Yes and no. So I've set up my businesses in a way so that I don't need a phone all the time. I tend to conduct all my business within my compound. I'm always on board. I'm always available between working hours, of course. And that basically gets me the chance to not have a phone and just be accessible to people physically, like in the old days. And I've got a big family. I've got a lot of people that I need to talk to. I've got a son. I've got a wife. I've got a lot of people that I care about. And if I'm going to be in their life, I need time.
All right, nice, huh? Got a talk show here, talk show with my mic. I can talk into a little chair, I can swivel around, look over here, look over there. I got everything.
And time between managing all my corporate interests, between managing my stock portfolio, between managing my classes and as an educator, being a part of my students' welfare and their lives, and then also being in my family's life. And that just becomes impossible if I'm spending 4 to 5 hours or even 2 to 3 hours a day on my phone. And I like to read, you know, I'm a person who spends a lot of time reading every day. I try to finish a book every 2 weeks. And that is a very important aspect of my life. It makes me very, very happy when I'm able to complete a book. And somewhere along the line, playing chess and being on YouTube all the time was one of the biggest reasons why I quit the phone, because I couldn't do things that mattered to me the most. Just the notifications, just the apps asking you to spend time on them. Of course, I understand that that's their business model, but it's just too irritating.
Excuse me? Irritating?
It's just too annoying, I guess. So I understand that these apps are made this way. They spend billions of dollars on psychologists and psychiatric research, understanding how habits are formed. You've always got a reason to be on your phone, right? And then it creates a mentality that whenever you're bored, you got to be on your phone. Boredom is bad. Boredom is impossible, right? You can't sit for 10 seconds without being entertained. You're in the consistent need of gratification when you're on this thing. And I understand that their business is about keeping you on the app for the longest time possible so that they can market your services. But the problem here is that I don't want to be a tool. I mean, someone said this to me a long time ago, that whenever something's free, then you're the product.
Frankly, if people are foolish enough to carry around a doodad that lets Grizzle track their every move, this is what they get.
I just don't want to be a person amidst millions of people who are just making billions of dollars for these companies and at the expense of my life. And you know, like over time you become this person who's consistently seeking pleasure, and this pleasure-seeking personality, this personality that does not ever want to be bored, always wants to be entertained, sort of becomes a problem after some time. I mean, I'm a married man, and it's very easy to be promiscuous on these things, right? You've got so many applications that just deal with people cheating on their spouses. There's so many applications where random people will just meet you and then hit you up. That's one of the reasons why I don't use social media. I mean, I've got this YouTube channel and it's managed by a company, but other than that, I'm probably a ghost on social media. Other than the fact that it's bad for relationships, you also lose ambition and motivation, become lazy and glued to this thing, and stop looking for other activities that are healthy for you. Because this thing is so good at what it does, it will only continue to take more and more of your time. So if it's 7 hours, you can bet that in another year it's gonna be 8, and then the next one is gonna be 9. So this only starts to worsen as a problem. If you actively take an initiative to improve your life, then what you can do is you can start creating some parameters on slowly and gradually reducing the amount of time you spend on your phone, and just use it for essential purposes, like using a calculator, for example, is pretty good. I mean, it's a good reason to use a phone. To communicate with people is another good reason to use a phone. Not just stupid talk and 8 hours of communication without a purpose, but I'm talking about, business calls or speaking to your family members, emergencies. For all of those reasons, a phone can be a very good gadget. But as long as you can manage those notifications, understand that this thing has an immense capacity to ruin you, you should be okay.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.
If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you're interested on my perspective on social issues, then please subscribe to this channel because more is coming. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.